And we are delighted that you're back with us on the starting lineup. Brought to you by Play It Again Sports in the Fremont Shopping Center, Battlefield in Fremont, Springfield. Great deals, folks. Don't bypass them. Get on down there starting today. Swing Right Golf at the south end of Campbell Avenue, just a little bit north of Nixa, by Citizens Bank of Rogersville, with two locales, one adjacent to Highland Springs and the other in Rogersville itself, and by Marshfield Chevrolet, with the exit at I-44, and indeed a couple of left turns at that exit, and you're headed into Marshfield Chevrolet. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear
and Art Haynes.
Good morning, Arthur.
Morning, men.
Got lots to talk about. That's why we left this segment open to bring you in, get your thoughts, and we'll start with the NCAA Regional up in Lawrence, Kansas. Bears go 2-Q. Didn't really see that happening, but it happened.
Yeah, disappointing. In their last 10 NCAA appearances, they had won at least one game, but first time since 1995 that they did not. The pitching failed against Arkansas, and then the hitting failed against Northeastern, which was really surprising. But, I was afraid about the pitching situation, and it showed up in the Arkansas game. In the second game, Felder did a great job out of the bullpen, and Schaff was fine as well. They just couldn't score.
Well, and I thought in that Arkansas game, Max Knight did a great job starting out.
He did.
4 innings, I think, and then Brock Lucas just didn't have it. And Arkansas kind of took command there, and it was playing catch-up the rest of the way. But it seemed like, I was talking to somebody last night, said the Bears were playing their best baseball about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I don't know if that's true or not, but here late, it just seemed like when the pitching was pretty good, the bats kind of went silent, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's right. The hitting usually was a constant, and it wasn't on Saturday. But it's the pitcher's failure to throw strikes was really the downfall of the team. Just got to throw strikes at any level of baseball, and too many walks, hit batsmen, base runners given freely to the other team, and that really is a big failing.
Art, in watching Saturday's game, I really felt Bears didn't play bad baseball at all, and they did make connections, but of course it's always going right back to somebody. But then again, a lot of pop-ups in the game. Do you suppose, and this is strictly speculation, that maybe the pitcher for Northeastern throwing, he was not a flamethrower at all. He was picking his spots.
Right.
That may have thrown the Bears off kilter just a bit?
Sure, yeah. They love fastballs,
yep.
But they were getting off speed and breaking pitches, and I think trying to loft them and hit home runs, and that was good pitching execution by their guy.
Sure.
So who's coming and going in your mind? Who are some of the key names to watch draft-wise, portal-wise? What do the Bears need to go get out of that portal as well?
Well, of course, they lose a lot of good seniors. Bogenpole will be taken in the draft, but his stock will have dropped precipitously. Now, he's still got all the skills, the tools. You look at him, 6'6", 240, whatever he is, and runs like a gazelle, and plus center fielder, very patient hitter, and a good arm. So he'll get drafted, but not in the first round like we thought last year. Otherwise, I don't know really of draft eligible guys that they might lose.
Well, I think Curry Sutherland might be one with that power bat, and his, he played some really good third base, his size, and he's draft eligible. And I just kind of wonder if somebody might jump on him. And
yeah, he's a sophomore academically, but you're right, the draft eligibility status. So, yeah, he might.
Yeah, and then, as you mentioned, I think one of the key losses, boy, Sermonelli was just so good.
Oh, man, and got no kind of all-conference recognition at all.
Yeah, which was shocking. But, it seemed like every time that they started an inning, whether it was at the start of the game or something, he was on base, and they're going to miss that.
Yeah, he was about my favorite player this year for his tenacity, and he was, Fife led the league in hitting, and Sermonelli was third. So those are, they got Fife back, of course, but they went in and plugged and played with Sermonelli and Gabe Ressler. guys that came in from other places, and they're going to have to figure out other people to fill those holes.
A couple other seniors I know in that lineup. They're going to miss Tag Gollert, who kind of always seemed like flew under the radar, but when you look at the career stats for Bears baseball in that illustrious history, he's up there in a lot of categories.
Really one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, and then Carter Bergman, who did such a good job climbing his way up the charts.
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he was a gamer and a leader.
Yeah, so a lot of holes to fill, and when is the draft now, Ned? Is it?
It's All-Star break.
Yeah, All-Star. So it seems like it keeps getting later and later, and which I'm sure puts a lot of pressure on these coaches because they don't know who they're going to. I mean, look at Wyatt Vincent last year. Up until draft day, the Bears probably thought Wyatt Vincent was going to be a Bear. Now he's a top 30 prospect in the Mets organization now as well. So. So with the portal now, you never know who's going to go, who's not happy, who's thinks they're going to play somewhere else, but a lot of work to do. There's really no off-season for Joey and that staff.
Well, I mean, job one is pitching. And, I'm assured that they will have the money to compete at least for frontline pitching because they didn't have a number one pitcher. They really have to bolster the pitching staff, and that's going to be job one here in recruiting.
Arthur, this has been a very strange baseball postseason in regards to top teams getting knocked off. UCLA's not there, and here's Ole Miss knocking off Nebraska. Anyway, bottom line is this. How do you feel KU will make out going to a super regional, whomever they play?
Well, so they'll probably play Georgia Tech, is that right?
Well, it's Georgia Tech plays Oklahoma today for the winner take all.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Georgia Tech has been one of the best teams in the country all year.
Number 2, yeah.
But Kansas is, they've flown under the radar, but they have earned everything they've gotten, and including beating the Omahogs, keeping them out of further advancement. So, I mean, that's a good team. They got a puncher's chance.
I think they're pretty balanced. I mean, they've got good pitchers, and they can hit the ball, too. And you look at everybody else, and it seems like a lot of teams are kind of tilted one way or the other. That Arkansas team, and I thought it going in, this is probably their worst team going into a regional in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And I think it played out. I mean, outside of Hunter Dietz on Saturday, whom KU beat, they didn't have any pitching. And Gackel wasn't very strong against the Bears on Friday. And then if you watched the games yesterday, boy, if you got into their third starter and beyond and their bullpen, they were just very average.
Yeah. Not one of their better teams at all. They have very lofty standards, and this team didn't live up to that this year. And yeah, I thought Kansas would probably win the regional, and they did.
Yeah, DVH catching heat. People saying he needs to retire. Then they're
my God.
Yeah, then they're taking aim at Nate Thompson and the pitching coach Hobbs, and so a lot of unrest right now. Of course, it'll blow over, and they'll be rooting for him as soon as they sign the first kid out of the portal. But look,
I mean, their fans are ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, they're playing the final game of the College World Series last year and almost win it, and now lose a regional, but still a very, very strong program.
There was a little tate-a-tate between the KU fans and the Arkansas fans. Were you party to it? Did you see any of that?
No.
Well, they went after each other.
Well, John Neighbors' show, it should be interesting at noon today. Apparently, and I don't know what KU's thinking with this, they had the KU student section right next to the Arkansas parents section, and they started pouring beer on. It didn't matter if the age was 8 as a grandkid or 80. They were getting beer thrown on them and full beer cans and stuff. Police had to go out there. This is Saturday night, and I noticed last night it looked like there was maybe a little separation between the fan bases there, to try to prevent that. But
that's poor game management.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the Bears' final stats, they hit 296 as a team. Their ERA was 6.03. Team ERA. Logan Fife leads them with a 3.59 average. Sermonelli hit 3.51. The Tag Gollert led him with 16. He tied for the lead in home runs with Bergman and Curry, and then had 64 RBIs. Gollert did. Curry drove in 54. Bogenpoel's final numbers, 274, 6, and 33. And just a tremendous number of walks there. Looks like he had 32 walks. I'm sorry, no, I'm looking at had 52 walks on the season. Yeah. Curry had 32. Sutherland got hit by pitch 20 times this season.
Yeah.
And he had a bunch last year, I remember, too, and stuff. But
he wears it well.
What was the total number of home runs?
As a team, the Bears
105?
hit. Yeah, 105 for the season. And
so I'm going to be out $105 because I've made the pledge $1 a home run at the first pitch back in February.
Well, and you knew they were going to hit a bunch, so it's a good thing. Goes back into the program, I'm sure, doesn't it? So,
yeah.
But, so putting a bow on the Bears season, Ed and I were talking the first hour overall, a good year. You're back in the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2022. You finished third in your first season in Conference USA. You reached the semifinals of the conference tournament at, 23, I think, in the RPI coming out of the regular season. So, I mean, all good numbers. You just got to find some better pitching.
Exactly.
Yeah. Speaking of pitching, hitting, and everything else your Royals need, not a good weekend in Texas. They go down and Jack Leiter shuts them down. Mackenzie Gore shuts them down. They go to the Reds. They face Chase Burns tonight. That's pretty much a mismatch because I'd not heard of the guy that's throwing for the Royals tonight. Who was it, Ned?
Avila? Is that what
Avila? Avila?
Well, that means it's a bullpen game.
Okay.
Because he's a reliever.
He's a reliever,
okay.
Yeah.
He played on Team Venezuela in the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah. And so is something going to happen, you think, this week with a bad series, or do we just keep saying that every week and nothing happens?
I think it should.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, this is just not acceptable for any team to be really this consistently bad. I think they need to shake it up.
And what would you do?
Well, I'd fire the manager.
Manager, and not just start with a hitting coach, or you do the whole thing?
Well, a hitting coach too, but
all of them. Clear them out, right?
Well, maybe keep the pitching coach, but.
Do you listen to much KC media, radio, or anything?
Occasionally, I'll listen to CDOT in the afternoon.
And what is that mood up there like right now with the Royals?
Pretty grim. Fatalism, I guess. There's just nothing good to say about it. They're just a terrible baseball team right now, and I think the pieces are there to be respectable, but they've not been respectable on the field.
And I was going to say, because you say the pieces are there coming into the year, Ned, wouldn't you say that we thought they'd be a challenger in the AL Central?
I'd pick them to be a playoff team. I picked them to win well over 80 games and to be a challenger there. And they can't now. I'm afraid they're too far behind. But by the same token, the talent is there. It just really hasn't come to the fore. And as things warm up, and it starts today, as a matter of fact, it may come on. They may get a whole lot better. But right now, they're not playing good baseball at all.
Well, there's some gaping holes in the lineup. I mean, Isaac Collins has been a disappointment. Mm-hmm. Lane Thomas. Michael Massey is pretty limited. He's a good defensive second baseman. But, there's some – it's a weak lineup. There are some good players within it, of course, Bobby and Miguel Garcia and Vinny, and Sal has regressed a little bit this year. So, they got problems, a lot of problems. Right here in River City.
There are two bright spots, if there are, in that offense. Carter Jensen's hitting the ball well.
Well, he hadn't been.
Yeah,
he hadn't had a home run in a month until this weekend. He hit one, so he's been in an extended slump.
Well, and they moved him to leadoff, I saw the other night, and Garcia at third. Garcia's hurt now with a hamstring. They don't know how bad that is. But it seems like it all kind of started when Reagan's hit his arm issues and went out, and you lost your ace.
And Bubich.
Yep.
So that's maybe your top two starters that have missed a lot of time. Waka and Lugo have been pretty solid, and Noah Cameron, but they're like, this is a night when they got nobody to pitch. Kolek pitched yesterday, and he'd been excellent. Gave up 4 runs in the first inning. So they are out of pitching tonight.
Can rhyme with Meredith Wilson a little bit. Got troubles right here, folks. Troubles starts with a T. rhymes with P, and that stands for pitching.
Pool.
Pitching.
Exactly.
Cardinals good weekend against the Cubs. They continue to kind of surprise a little bit, I think, and they 4-game losing streak going into that series, and they get it turned around there and against a rival. Springfield Cardinals are playing better baseball now too.
Yeah, they are. I guess they got a sweep of Wichita.
They did.
Completed a rain-suspended game yesterday, and then won the actual game as well with a big rally in the bottom of the ninth.
5-run ninth. That walk-off with a homer there. And Newt Barr, I would think, would he probably go to Memphis now if he needs more rehab?
If they make the decision, yes. I think he would go there because I think they feel pretty good about their ball club the way they're playing right now, and they should, because it's a team that's doing everything right. They're getting the key hits. They're not necessarily bludgeoning teams, but they are getting a key hit here. And, for instance, last night in the first inning, the Cardinals scored 2 runs. Got them on a fluke bounce on one and a misplay on the other, and it just is going right for them. They're in the right rhythm.
Art, did you watch any of the Thunder game Saturday night?
Oh, I watched the whole game.
Yeah, your thoughts?
Well, Wemby is the man, but the complementary pieces on that team really won the game. SGA did his part, but Holmgren was missing in action, and McLean wasn't nearly what he was the game before, and I think the Spurs were just hitting on all cylinders with a variety of role players to go around Wembanyama.
Mr. Puryear and I were talking earlier in the game, and Scott says that he was disappointed, as I think all of Oklahoma City was, with Holmgren and how he played. He only had, a 4 or 6 points, something like that. Before
2 shots.
Is that all it was? 2 shots that they took him out. He's obviously intimidated. But by the same token, do you feel like maybe he is over the hill now that he's run his course? I don't, but what do you feel?
I don't either, but he clearly did not rise to the occasion. He shrank from the occasion, and that's disappointing.
Yeah, 33 minutes, 4 points on 1 of 2 field goal shooting, 4 rebounds, couple turnovers, couple blocks and steals. But I'd heard this and read this, that he and Wemby, they came out in the same draft class, correct? I think they were 1 and 2 in the draft class that year, and that it's one of those things that Wemby's in Holmgren's head, and if Wemby's on the floor anywhere near him, that ball's not going up because he's afraid to get it rejected and the embarrassment of that. But boy, he just shrunk. I mean, it was. They couldn't have him on the floor late because he wasn't contributing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And it took away, I think, from the flow of their team, too, because Gilgeous-Alexander did not, while he did have the scoring, he did not play quite as well and quite as heads up as he could have. I'm not certain the Oklahoma City ball club did not take the fact that they were playing at home, maybe took it for granted that they would win that thing.
It seemed like they were just, that they got down and there was no panic. They were down, 10, 12, 13 early. Mm-hmm. And then they got it down to where they actually went up, and then they would get down 7 or 8. It was almost like there wasn't a sense of urgency until you saw SGA's eyes with about 3 minutes to go. He's like, whoa, wait a minute. We're down 9, and there's 3 minutes left in Game 7 at our house. And it was just too late by that point.
They showed that close-up of him. He had those Cash Patel eyes going.
Yeah.
Now, here's the key. The VSiN network and the experts on there are giving the Knicks a chance in this one. What does Art Haynes think?
Yeah, I think they got a chance. They've got a solid team, and obviously it was a cakewalk through the East for them, not near the gauntlet in the West, but I think they got a chance.
Well, and the Spurs are probably, there's a little bit of that, we just beat the defending champions, right. And maybe a little bit of emotional letdown, while the Knicks have been hearing for a week how they don't have a chance.
And the Knicks got helped out by the 76ers, who eliminated Boston. I think Boston, had they played at the top of their game, could have been, could have, would have. You can always make speculations out of it. Timeout? Do we want to take a time? Yeah. Quick timeout on the starting lineup. Great having you with us, folks. Don't go way back in a second.
Back to the starting lineup with Scott Puryear, Ned Reynolds, and Art Haynes on your home for the St. Louis Blues. 102.1 The One.
And also your home for the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Redbirds will be playing the Texas Rangers tonight. The game will start at 6:45. Broadcast will start about 35 or 40 minutes earlier than that, right here at 102.1. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
And Art Haynes.
Art, you had some continuing thoughts on the Spurs and Thunder?
Yeah, I wanted to mention two other players. Dylan Harper, he really came up big off the bench in that series for San Antonio, and that was true in Game 7. And then De'Aaron Fox, kind of an X factor there. Seen his better days, but he made 3 threes, and that was just indicative of everybody was hitting for the Spurs.
Have you watched much of the Women's Softball World Series?
A little bit.
Yeah, it's great drama, I'll tell you that. I was watching yesterday Jordy Ball, Fromm, her married name Fromm now, no-hitter into the 6th against Texas. And Texas gets a couple girls on, 3-run homer, and bam, Jordy's career's over. That's softball. That's as quick as that can turn. And then Texas Tech beats UCLA 3-2 in extras last night, and Texas Tech has quickly become the team to root against, I think, in most sports.
Well, because they've bought their way to where they are.
Yeah.
Really because of one guy, I guess. But on the one hand, they've traditionally been like brand C in Texas, so it's good to see them having some success. But I think it's the way they're having it is what's rubbing people the wrong way. But now you got to think, Texas and A&M, they got a bunch of guys like that. They've got plenty of resources. So, I'm not going to begrudge Texas Tech for having a sugar daddy when Texas and A&M have got a bunch of them.
And the big collapsible in all of spring sports in college is UCLA. Here's your baseball team out of it at courtesy St. Mary's, and here's your softball team getting upset like this, and they were one of the prime favorites in Oklahoma City. My goodness sake.
But they did win it in women's basketball.
Yeah,
that they did, and you can't deny that.
Have you seen the on social media, the Georgia kid home run?
Yeah.
That and he got tossed, and Wes Johnson got tossed right after that. I said something on Twitter, and I've had most people, especially the older you are, the more you agree. Of course, it's Georgia fans are saying, "Oh, come on, it's just having fun," and all that. You saw it. What did you think of the kid and the way he behaved around the bases?
Well, I think it was for what he shouted into the opposing team dugout as he rounded first base.
It was Liberty, wasn't it, I think?
Liberty, yeah. Yeah, he turned his body their way and yelled at them and gestured, and I think that's what got it. Then when he rounded second, the Liberty second baseman said something to him, I guess based on what he had just done. So it was taunting the other team. It wasn't his bat flip or anything around the bases. I think it was taunting that got him tossed, and must have been pretty blatant.
And what do you suppose that second baseman said to him as he rounded second base?
Well, he's from Liberty, he'd be nice, clean language.
It would have been less objectionable than what us aliens would have said.
Kind sir, please don't do that, is what he said. But then the kid runs backwards from third to home a little ways.
Yeah.
And then almost Michael Jackson moonwalks into the plate, and then he's got a teammate doing the 15 different hand gesture, hand slaps, high five. I'm all for emotion, and I get it, but there's a point where it's in excess. And Wes Johnson's out there arguing and getting tossed. Why don't you nip that in the bud before it even happens as the head coach, and tell the guys, there's a way to play baseball, and doing a moonwalk into home plate and running backwards is not the way. But
well, you don't want to stifle your guys' creativity, Scott.
And the sad part is, and it sucks us in on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. You watch youth sports now, and guess who's watching those older guys do it? And it's embarrassing. I mean, the number of fights that we're seeing. There was a kid and a dad in Oklahoma that the dad was the coach and ordered his pitcher son, 12 years old, to throw the baseball into the other dugout on a pitch. And that dad's suspended for life. That kid is now suspended apparently for 5 years in Oklahoma youth sports for doing that. But I mean, what are we doing?
Well, we're losing our minds. A lot of the fights are between parents in the stands of opposing teams, but Yeah, I mean it's youth sports. Get over yourself. And I mean, I can see being competitive. You know, you want to win, but goodness, I mean, there's a way to do so.
Well,
I'm afraid that's just a symptom of society in general that's become less polite and more abrasive.
I think that's exactly what it is, too, Art. It is the sociological aspect on what we're dealing with now. Because, guys, I'm going to take you back, and this may have occurred before either one of you was born. But Jimmy Pearsall, when he was playing for the New York Mets, hit his 100th career home run. And he always vowed that if he ever hit 100 career home runs, he'd run the bases backwards. He did. Yeah. He ran them backwards, and there was nothing said about that at all in terms of derogatory remarks.
Coach Stratton had a really good post, and we'll read it after our next interview, but I thought it really hit the nail on the head, and we'll kind of get into that. But we need to take our break because we're going to talk some Miller baseball on the other side.
And we'll take a timeout. Back in a second. And we are delighted to have you with us on the starting lineup, brought to you by Play It Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, by Marshfield Chevrolet, and by Citizens Bank of Rogersville. Ned Reynolds with
Scott Puryear.
And Art Haynes.
Art, we have a special guest on the line. He is the head coach of the Miller Cardinals. They play in the Class 2 state semifinals today.
It's Miller time.
It's Miller time out at and he is barely old enough to have a Miller because he is 23 years old. He's got to be the youngest coach in the state, I would think. We welcome in Coach Jeff Lung. Jeff, thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an honor. 23
years old and a head coach in a baseball team that's in the Final Four. This is your first year as the head coach. Spent, 3 you said, or as the assistant to Justin Snyder out there?
Yeah, 3 years with Coach Snyder. Great mentor. Learned a lot from him. He kind of shaped me whose coach I am today. And, yeah, this is my first year head coach, so.
Wow. And you guys just kept on rolling. Of course, win it last year. You've got the same combination back on the mound with Wilkinson and Schnocky today and tomorrow. Kind of talk about you getting that job and when Snyder told you, hey, I'm retiring and going to recommend you for the head coaching position.
Yeah, so I'm from Miller, so when I graduated, it was kind of always a dream to come back here. And so when Coach Snyder said he was leaving towards the end of the year last year, I kind of was like, do you think I should apply for it? Because, I'm so young still in there. You just never know what the board's going to think and all that stuff. And he goes, yes, I think you should. I think you're ready. And so huge kudos to Coach Snyder. And I thank him every day, and I talk to him a lot still. But when I took over, kind of a dream come true. To come back to the school and to the community that gave me so much during my high school days, and to be able to give back to the kids and give back to the community is a huge thing for me. And I think it's special for our community to get back here again, and hopefully a lot to come out today and we can celebrate together as a community because it's tough to do what we've done. So very thankful.
Jeff, your old boss came from a baseball family and knew the game backwards and forwards. What specifically did he teach you that you've absorbed to make yourself a head coach now?
Just trust your instincts and trust your gut. He taught me that your instincts are going to kick in at some point. And he just texted me and told me, don't change who you are. That's some life lesson that I've learned from him is don't change who you are just because you're on the big stage. Be who you are, be the person you've always been dreaming of, and just teach these kids how to play baseball the right way. And we try to do that, and maybe sometimes we get off a little script to maybe have a little too much fun, but we try to play baseball the right way.
Jeff, tell us about your team and how much carryover there was from last year.
Yeah, so last year from our state championship run, we graduated 5 seniors. Almost all of our offensive production graduated last year. We returned, obviously, Jace Wilkinson and Haynes Schnocky, our two studs on the mound. So there was a bunch of question marks coming into who was going to play, all that stuff. I think we returned our catcher, Sam Ferguson, and then one of our outfielders, Paul Nunez, and then Hayden Schnocky, and then Jay. So really 4 starters. And then a 5th one, Hayden Brown, was our other starter when Schnocky was pitching. So we had a lot of question marks coming into who's going to fit those roles that we lost last year. We've had a lot of kids step up into big roles. We got a bunch of new guys, that you could say didn't contribute to the state title, but are contributing this year way beyond what I think everybody thought they could. And
yeah, you froze up there just a second.
Are you there? Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So I take it with Wilkinson and Schnocky as juniors, you're probably going to want to coach them next year too, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, that we're saying that facetiously,
Hopefully
but yeah,
I get it one more year.
Yeah, it's a great situation to have. The defending state champions. You're back this year in the semifinals with two juniors that were there pitching last year in the same scenario. Talk about Wilkinson in particular, because he's a Mizzou commit already, a kid that played Lighthouse Christian his freshman year, you said, and then kind of describe the scenario that brought him to the Cardinals.
Yeah, so Jace is just a one-of-a-time kid. Obviously, he's committed to Mizzou, had a lot of looks from a lot of colleges. So when he came here our sophomore year, he kind of was just looking for a forever home, I guess you could say. He lived in the district, came into our district. He wasn't quite sure what he wanted to do. He asked a bunch of coaches. Everybody thought everybody thought he was homeschooled, and he just really went around Grove and then came to Miller, and I think he truly fell in love with it, the kind of the small town feel. And so when he came here, it was a huge asset for us, especially last year for what he did, and then obviously what he's doing this year. To have him just be on the team and be around these guys has kind of elevated all of our play, especially, like you said, Hayden Schnocky. Like, I think he elevated his play when he knew someone on the mound was going to push him. And they're very friendly with each other. They have some friendly competitions, and when they're on the mound, I think they're trying to one up each other. If one gives up a hit, the other one's trying not to give up a hit, and they're always trying to see who can strike out the most guys. So having Jace just as a true blessing, and kind of I've learned from him as much as he probably has learned from me, because he's baseball knowledge. He knows the game, he knows pitching and all that stuff. So.
This is really great for Miller, having a great 1-2 combination like that at pitching. But having said that, your number one man is pitching today. Do you handle him any differently with the next game coming up tomorrow?
No, we're going to go. Jace knows he's going his max. We've kind of already decided to get to the state championship game. We got to win today, and so Jace on the mound. Even if Schnocky was throwing too, I have confidence in Schnocky as well. Just it kind of sets up like we did last year with Jace throwing, like how he threw game one last year against Chaffee. And so hopefully we come out and get 21 outs and score at least one run. That's the plan. So,
Arthur?
Art, you there?
Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
Scott was talking about you coming back as coach next year. If your school board's from Arkansas, they might fire you if you don't win the state championship. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. So tell us, you obviously have a pipeline going there with able to replace kids from last year. To what do you attribute that? I mean, it's a Class 1 school. You got limited enrollment, but you seem to have some good baseball players.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of the next man up mentality that all our kids have. They work hard in the weight room. They work hard in off season. A lot of our kids are 3-sport athletes. And so like they're just hard nosed kids. They're going to work hard. They're going to do what you say. And I think that's kind of what we're trying to build is trying to get kids to be like, hey, just because seniors graduate, it's not that we're over. It's just we're reloading and we're going to work hard and continue to do what we do and play Miller baseball.
And it goes without saying, these are probably multi-sport athletes, most of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Hayden Schnocky plays all three, so he has a toughness that a lot of the kids that I was a 3-sport athlete, and you got to be mentally tough. And a lot of these kids do play a lot of sports, and so when you play a lot 3 sports, you got to know how to use your time, and you got to be mentally tough.
Well, you guys are 19-8 on the season. Looking back at your game by game, you hit a little rough patch there with 5 losses in 7 games there at the end of April, early May, including back-to-back losses to Purdy, but then you turn around and beat Purdy 4-0 in the district championship game. Kind of talk about what you guys are able to correct there, or what that little, losing streak did to your team to get them motivated here down the stretch.
Yeah, so those 3 games in the 1 week, we played 3 conference schools. It was Stockton, Ash Grove, and Sir Coxey. and we were winning going into the 7th against Stockton and got walked off. We were winning or tied going into the 6th against Ash Grove, and then gave up a hit in the 6th and lost. And then Circoxie, we were up 2 runs going into the 7th and lost that one too. So that week kind of, I think, opened our eyes that, hey, we're not doing the little things right. We're not finishing games. We're not finding ways to get the 21 outs, like I said earlier. We got to about 20, 19 outs around there and just couldn't find the way to get the next out to kind of end the game. And then the Purdy game, so I told the boys our District C meeting was actually already decided. So we were already the 2 seed, and I told them, I said, we're not going to show them our top 4 arms. So Haynes, Schnocky, Jace Wilkinson, and Owen Weiss didn't throw at all, and those are our top 3 arms against Purdy the first 2 times we played them. And we're us playing them again and go all in for that game in the district championship, and we didn't. Jace threw phenomenal. I think he had 15 Ks. It was lights out stuff.
What do you know about your opponent today?
I know they're good. Obviously, you make it here, they're really good. They got a couple arms on the mound that are really good, kind of like us. So it's going to be a fun game. Should be a pitching duel. And like I said, hopefully we score 1 run and get 21 outs as fast as possible. So
yeah, Faith Christian Academy. Where are they from?
Kansas City. They're a private school in Kansas City.
Very good. Well, Jeff,
they were Class 1 last year. I think they got 2nd.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time. We know you got to get ready to go play a game at 1 o'clock today. Go get them, and hopefully we're talking to you later in the week about a state championship again.
Perfect. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
He is Jeffrey Lung. He is the head coach of the Miller Cardinals, who head into state championship semifinals at 1 this afternoon. Take a timeout on the starting lineup and be right back. And we thank you very much for being with us on the starting lineup on this beautiful Monday in the Ozarks, June the 1st. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
Art Haynes.
Can you imagine 23 years old as a head coach? I just hope my kids at 23 get up in the morning, and put their clothes on the right direction and things like that. But that you're right. A school board has to see something for that to happen.
Well, and he's obviously a very his discussion today on the Miller team is very articulate.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
he's younger than both of my grand adults. That tells you his kids learned his lessons very well, and he'll do a good job with them.
I think Justin Snyder's recommendation probably carried a lot of weight.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to.
Yeah, and with Justin's baseball reputation as well, too. But it reminds me a little bit of the Lamar situation with who was the Bears football player that went back, and Bashore?
Yeah,
Bashore,
Jared. Bashore went back and has coached them, and he was hired at 24 or 25, I think.
He was, and it was Coach who Scott Bailey, who recommended that he come back. He had been at Branson and been, I think, down there for 1 year, I think, and then went to the Lamar job.
And I think it helps a lot, and it means a lot when the kid played and grew up there.
Yeah.
You look at B Shore, you look at Coach Lung here, that they understand it. You look at Hillcrest with Jordan Fielding out there. We talked about that with him in basketball. That sometimes when you kind of know your dynamics and you grew up in it, it means a lot more to you because you're representing the place you grew up in. That's a little bit extra pressure, let alone the pressure of defending a state championship in your first year at 23 years old.
You mentioned Scott Bailey at Lamar.
Yeah.
One of the best ever in Southwest Missouri. And I know we're going to have another one. John Roderick is the guest of honor at the one luncheon at Golden Corral Wednesday.
Well, no, he's actually going to be on with us on the radio Wednesday. Yeah, he's our Ozarks legend, but we are working on finalizing the Wednesday luncheon guest. My guy that's arranging it is going to text us back as we speak, but
we will have one.
We will. Yes, it is this Wednesday, 11:30. Worst case scenario, you just talk to us, and we let Art talk Royals for 35 minutes if he wants to. Yeah. Hey,
I'll have something else to do that
day. We do have a caller. Let's switch over and see what we got here on the phone line. Caller, you're on with us. Who we talking to?
Hey, this is Mark. How we doing today?
Doing great.
Man. What's going on, Beef Man?
Well, a couple of things. Good luck to the Dadeville Bearcats.
Yep.
which will be playing in the state Final Four. I think that's today too, ain't it?
It's tonight at 7.
The 1 and 2 both tonight at 7. And did y'all watch the Cardinals last night? What do you think about Albert Pujols commentating?
I thought he did a pretty doggone good job. I think the guy's he's really come on. His level of execution on the speech patterns is really good. Yeah, I thought he did well.
I thought I did too. Is NBC going to take him on, or is that?
No,
just a Cardinal thing.
It was because the Cardinals are playing on, Mark, and they will do that. And NBC does that with most of the home cities they play in. They bring in a former star of some sort and have him on. But Albert, who knows? He may have won himself a spot.
I think he'd look good in a Royals uniform as manager.
Yeah, and that may be open. Happen. Yeah. Hey, Mark, we appreciate the call. Thank you.
All right, have a great week, guys.
You too. Wanted to tell you about that post I was making reference to. But we're talking about kids and their celebrations now and all the stuff they go through. This was from Coach Stratton on Facebook, and he said, "I'm sitting waiting on my grandson's 14U game to start here this morning. I see kids with tote bags, 3 or 4 bats in tow, slung over their back because of the size and all the baseball accessories they are carrying. Batting practice with restricted flight balls, of course, in time with the team boombox loud enough to be heard throughout the complex. I see what appears to be a 10U team taking BP with a portable pitching machine, power supplied by a portable generator. Parents taking advantage of a mechanical advantage with a wagon rolling in with enough items to survive the day. Mom loading the sunscreen on the siblings. Sweet uniforms everywhere. If you don't have a pair of Oakley sunglasses, you can't get in the park. And unless you digitally purchase a ticket, you are in the knothole gang. I'm old." And that's pretty much summarizes what's going on out there right now. I mean, the bats are $300-400 a piece, and kids go through them like they were kindling, and stuff. But it's a different world. I guess we are old, aren't we? All three of us.
We in the media, in my opinion, are partially to blame for that by making a big deal out of the numbers of scholarships that are available for varying sports, both male and female, and hyping on the individuals who get these scholarships. Well, I think maybe the general public gets a misunderstood impression as to what's offered. You've got to be pretty doggone good to get these things. And yes, you can educate your kids from a young age and so forth and so on, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee anything. Let them get out and play a lot of sports.
When my team played in the 90s, we played in jeans and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so what is the situation now? Because I was at Drury for 11 years where Naz would have to split up like 7 scholarships among 30 guys.
Right.
And I know Missouri State had to do that for quite a while.
11 of them, yeah.
Yeah, but now with the revenue sharing, how does that change things for Joey and the baseball Bears? Can they offer more to guys because of that?
Well, if they've got it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unlimited scholarships now.
Yeah.
But, however much they've got in the coffers, both for scholarships and now for NIL, to use that judiciously at positions that really make a difference.
See, and that's where the whole point of having the money comes into play, because it isn't necessarily a limitation of what you have. It's what you can afford. And the Bears and Drury and some of the other schools simply cannot stay with the big-timers at this time. Who knows how that might change.
So I'm going to guess that when they play Arkansas may have 30 guys getting money.
Yeah. And
the Bears have whatever they can afford getting money.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's not a level playing field.
No.
And so, but that's the way it is until we figure out a way to change it. And I guess there's people trying to change it, but you're going to run into lawyers, and the NCAA is going to have to sign off.
I don't think so. Not if Congress will pass this law that they have before them now that, number one, will not eliminate, that's not fair to say, but will adjudicate the amount of money the teams can get and can give to their players. That's going to be governed by Congress. And secondly, the transfer. The transfer is one, and then you can do one freely, and then after that, nope, you've got to sit out for a year or whatever the circumstances might be. They're the two key elements. There are others involved in this too. However, it does have to get through Congress. We'll see.
Art, today down in Lubbock, a judge will rule whether to issue an injunction so Brendan Sorsby and his gambling habits can play quarterback for Texas Tech this fall. I assume you're with us on this, that there is no way, shape, or form that kid should ever be on a football field at NCAA level again.
I agree. I mean, if he is ruled eligible, why have any rules at all?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just open and shut.
Well, and go ahead.
The same with Tristan Chambliss. Although his is a totally different situation. He played, 3 years at Division II, gets one, and wants to come back and will be allowed to come back.
But he didn't violate a known rule. I mean, this kid was betting on...
It's the eligibility rule, though, and like Art said, what are the rules are for?
But this is a rule that it is every start of the year, you do not gamble on sports. You do not gamble on NCAA sports. And he not only bet on Indiana football when he was there as part of the roster, but he was betting on Texas Tech sports until they caught him back in January or February.
And another thing on that bill, it would, what was I going to say about the?
You're talking about the bill before Congress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I did see one thing talking about the Lane Kiffin rule they're trying to get in, where you cannot leave a team that is still playing. So
that's another key.
Yeah, that when he left Ole Miss to go to LSU and they still had games left, they're trying to put a squash on that too.
Here's what it is: you'd have 5 years to play. Period.
Yeah.
No 6th, 7th year hardships. 5 years, injured, whatever, don't care. 5 years.
And that also is a plus, in my opinion, and a major factor in solidifying how players are recruited and so forth, and the understanding that goes with it. Right now, there's so many misperceptions that it just involves a whole lot of understanding of what your kids are going to do and what they're not going to do.
Absolutely.
I think that legislation would have bipartisan support, really.
It's bipartisan introduced, yes.
Well, that's going to do it for today.
We out of time?
We're out of time. Good show, and more guests lined up all week. We'll have some high school guests. As Art mentioned, John Roderick's our Ozarks legend this Wednesday, talking a little Webb City football, and should be fun.
Very good, very good. And we are in the stretch run. Folks, it's been a pleasure being with you. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
Art Haynes.
See you tomorrow right here.